controls. Make sure everything lined up perfectly. Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? What's happening? Pop-up live, you know, Memorial Day. Salute to everybody pulling up, everybody watching the live, everybody that's gonna catch the replay. Told y'all, man, we gonna continue to cook on this fight, continue to break this down. This is actually the first live that we've done since the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight has been official. It's big shit, man. It's big shit. I'm happy now that we are at a point where we can do videos, go live, you know, congregate, and just chop it up about the fight itself. Actually breaking this shit down, man. I'm so happy that we at this point. Man. We can just talk about the fight. Shout out to everybody pulling up, man. Shout out to the brother Big Mike, Real Talk TV in the building. Shout out to my brother Prolific One in the building. What's good? Shout out to the brother ATX, Slab Life, Cletus, aka Big Texas in this hoe. What's good, man? I appreciate y'all for pulling up. I'm sipping on me a little green juice, man. Sun cool. You feel me? Just to get me through the day type shit. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Sipping on me a little, you know, a little banana and spinach. You feel me? With some spring water, sun slice. Shout out to my brother Ricky Williams, TWT in the building. Strap season. What's good? Shout out to the brother Anthony Breland in the building. What's good? Make sure y'all hit that like button as you slide through as well. I appreciate it. Shout out to my brother Kano Loco Sports in the building. Shout out to my brother Skinny 2 Liddy in the building. What's good, man? What's good? As y'all see in the title, I think this is a very valid question. I think this question that I'm asking is very, very valid. Shout out to the brother Seen and Unseen Boxing in the building. What's good? I think this question that I'm asking is valid. You know, I think this question is valid. And I believe that this is going to be one of the most important questions, mysteries, and aspects of this fight. I think that this question and the answer to it is what's going to carry, you know, the energy of this fight. I think this is going to determine the outcome of the fight. And if there's a rematch, you're going to see the same shit. Because I think the first fight could be one of those type of fights where, you know, it take a lot out of either both guys or one of the other guys, and they don't want to do no rematch. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that there's a, you know, a bi-directional rematch clause. That's dope. That gives us an opportunity or potential for a trilogy, which is phenomenal for a fight of this magnitude. But I think it could be one of those situations where the fight is so grueling, it takes so much out of both guys or one of the other guys, and they don't want to do a rematch. You know what I'm saying? But this question right here, remember where y'all heard this shit. And I don't really know if, when I made my first video on this fight back in 2018, that was, remember it. For all those who have been here, and even if you came later and you went back and watched that first video, why I think Errol Spence beats Terence Crawford Part 1, what was the main shit I said in that video? I said, you gotta hurt Errol Spence. That don't just go for Terence Crawford, they go for anybody. You gotta hurt him in order to beat him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that shit reigns true all the way up until this point. Shout out to the Queen Ashley's Corner in the building. What's good? Shout out to my brother Mike Rhyme in the building. You feel me? Shout out to the brother Dank Found 554 in the building. What's good? What's happening? We gonna chop it up about it. Shout out to the brother Mook Supreme. He said, so y'all really think Earl just gonna walk all over T Crawford? It ain't gonna. No, I promise. Look, listen. Listen. Hey, Mook Supreme, that's not what I'm saying. That's not. Hey, don't get it misconstrued. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think this is a cakewalk for either fighter. I'm simply asking a question because I believe that I'm one of the first people that put that out in the universe. This question. Or the fact that you have to hurt Errol Spence to beat him. Shout out to the brother RB's in the building. What's good? You feel me? I think you have to hurt Errol Spence. So my question is, what if Terence Crawford can't hurt him? That don't mean Terence Crawford can't go out there and put on a great performance. That don't mean he can't be sharp. That don't mean his counters can't be accurate. That don't mean he can't, use the ring and lateral movement to set traps for Errol Spence and be successful. I'm not saying that he can't do those things. I'm saying that what if he can't hurt Errol Spence? That's a big question. Because when have you ever seen, can anybody name a fighter that outboxed Errol Spence for 12 rounds? Shout out to the brother Nego Demo Scarfo. He said, hit the like button. Y'all heard that, brother. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Can anybody name one fighter that outboxed Errol Spence for 12 rounds? Can anybody? Can anybody name a fighter that gave Errol Spence problems for 12 rounds and Errol Spence could never figure him out? Like, Errol Spence could never cut the ring off. He could never get close to him. Can we name a fighter that Errol Spence couldn't get close to and get activity off of? You can't name one. No, that don't mean he lost. That don't mean he would have lost. He could have still got. All right, let me give you this example. Canelo, people would say that Erislandy Lara outboxed Canelo Alvarez, but Canelo still got the victory. I tell people all the time, even though I picked Lara, I felt like Lara should have got the nod in that fight. I could see why the judges didn't give it to him because Canelo Alvarez pressed the pace all night and he was landing body shots. And Lara played too much defense and not enough offense. That's why he lost that fight. But there's nobody that you can say that with Errol Spence. You can't say that somebody was successful moving around the ring all night and Errol couldn't get to him and make it a definitive victory. You can't name nobody. The point I'm making is that it's highly unlikely for anybody to be able to use the entire ring all night and outbox Errol Spence and he can't get to him to land no significant work. Everybody that Errol Spence has ever fought, he's been able to get to him and push the pace of the fight. Shout out to my brother D Luckett in the super chat coming through and showing love. He says, salute, DJ throwing in the towel. Oh, man. He got Derrick James, the trainer of the year, back to back to back to back. The most legendary trainer in the sport right now. He got Derrick James throwing in the towel. Damn. Let me take a sip of my green juice on behalf of that. Hey, D Luckett, you right. Errol Spence has never faced a Terence Crawford, but let me tell you what he has faced. He has faced counterpunchers with power fighting off the back foot. Danny Garcia. Kell Brook. Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia was one of the best counterpunchers in the sport at the time Errol Spence fought him. He was 39-0. He had conquered multiple divisions, multiple divisional champion. You know what I'm saying? None of them were as crafty as Terence Crawford. That's a fact. But what I'm saying is this. Errol Spence has been in the ring with counterpunchers fighting off the back foot trying to set traps. He's been in the ring with those guys. Yordenis Ugas, another great counterpuncher. Now, he don't have Terence Crawford power, but another great counterpuncher fighting off the back foot trying to set up traps. But you see, Ugas couldn't set shit up because Earl was in his wheelhouse all motherfucking night. Hold on. Shout out to the brother. He said, it's not hard to get Bud out of counterpunching mode. That's a fact. Ugas had a little bit of success, but this is my thing, though. My question is, what if Terence Crawford can't hurt Errol Spence? Because we know Terence Crawford gonna land. We know Errol Spence is gonna be there. Errol Spence, he's gonna apply intelligent pressure. He's gonna get close to you. It ain't gonna be reckless, overzealous, overextending pressure. I believe this is the sharpest that we gonna see Errol Spence. This is probably gonna be the sharpest that we see Terence Crawford. We know that Terence Crawford gonna be sharp. We know that he gonna land shots. My thing is, if he can't hurt Errol Spence, how does he win rounds? How does he keep Errol Spence off of him? How many times have we seen a fight of this magnitude where both guys traditionally get stoppages over other opponents that they face? But when they get in the ring with each other, the power, it ain't the same. Shout out to the brother Christopher Russell in the building. What's good? How many times have we seen two elite fighters get in the ring and nobody gets knocked out? Now, in this fight, I do believe that both fighters have the ability to stop each other, just in different ways. I think, of course, Bud showing the more one-punch knockout power over the course of his career at 147. We know that he has the ability, at least on paper from what we've seen, to stop Errol Spence with one shot. I still believe Errol Spence can stop Terence Crawford with the right shot, but it's more probable that Terence Crawford would land that before Spence would, because Spence is more of a accumulation of ass whooping type of fighter. He systematically breaks you down and beats you the fuck up. You leave the ring with injuries and shit that you never even thought you was gonna have going into that motherfucker. Broken eye sockets and ribs and like all type of shit, spending multiple nights in the hospital after the fight type shit. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that Terence Crawford, you know what I'm saying? I don't really see him having like an accumulation of ass whooping. I could just see Terence Crawford landing the shot and then going for the finish. But I could see Errol Spence breaking Terence Crawford down over the course of the fight and stopping him that way. My thing is, though, you've seen when fighters of this caliber, when they step in a ring with each other, a lot of times it's not a knockout because both of them got good enough defense to survive. Both of them have experience. Their chin has been tested. They have experience being punched by good fighters before. You know what I'm saying? The offense is so respected that you don't see the other fighter take certain risks that they would normally take versus lesser competition. That's why you see the knockouts go down when you get two fighters that's elite on this. Like, we talking about the elite of the elite. We ain't never seen Terence Crawford on the ground. Terence Crawford did get dropped by Mean Machine. That's a fact. I take that back. He got dropped by Mean Machine. That's a fact. We ain't never seen Errol Spence get dropped. We ain't never seen Errol take a knee. We ain't never seen him get dropped. We seen Terence Crawford get dropped, but it was a slight moment. You feel me? My point is, you never really seen these fighters in trouble like that, so it's hard to fathom that either one of them is gonna get knocked out in this fight. But you know it's possible. You know it's possible. Shout out to the brother A Bull in the building. What's good? Shout out to the brother Yarmus Potter in the building. What's good, man? I appreciate y'all pulling up. Look, we got 100 folks in here, but I see 40-something likes. I don't know if my screen behind, but man, go ahead and get those likes up. I appreciate you. But peep game, though. How many times have we seen, and shout out to the brother Eric Bowden in the building. What's good? Shout out to, look, like, think about all the times that we done seen a fight of this caliber where you don't see a knockout. You said the ropes held Spence up against Ugas. D Luckett, tread lightly. Tread lightly, D Luckett. Tread lightly. You know why that's not a good point to make, D Luckett? Is because Ugas had a clean shot on Errol Spence with no mouthpiece in, his hands down. He had a clean, free shot with his best punch, his right hand. I don't give a fuck if it's ropes there or not. Errol Spence didn't go down. That's more of a testament to Errol Spence's chin than it is to him being held up by the ropes. And then he got right back to the action after he started smiling. Got right back to the action. Had his best round of the fight thus far in the 7th round, the round after. So you telling me he get hit with a clean right hand, free, with no mouth guard in, and he don't go down? He bounced back off the ropes and stood up, start smiling, and get right back to the smoke? That's tough. So again, let's say Terence Crawford sharp. You know what I'm saying? The counter sharp. You know, he start the fight off in orthodox. Just to see what it's like, just to see if he'll be able to get away with the same shit that he was able to get away with lesser competition. He start off in orthodox. He try to box Errol Spence. I think he's soon gonna figure out I'm more explosive when I'm in southpaw. He gonna realize that in orthodox he don't have an advantage with Errol Spence. The only advantage that he would have, the only thing that puts him in a good position fighting orthodox is that his jab, his lead hand is lining up with Errol's lead hand. So he can offset the jab like that. He could try to offset Errol Spence's jab. That's what I think he gonna do. I think he gonna start the fight off in orthodox and try to offset Errol Spence's jab. You know what I'm saying? He gonna try to be able to parry Errol hand every time Errol throw the jab, try to come over the top of it the same way he did with Kell Brook. Because Kell Brook being orthodox, he switched to southpaw, so his lead hand can be over Kell Brook's lead hand, because Kell Brook in them first 2 rounds was fucking Terence Crawford up with the jab. In 2 rounds, Kell Brook fucked up Terence Crawford's eye. In 2 rounds, Kell Brook had Terence Crawford's eye scraped the fuck up in 2 rounds off the jab. So I know Terence Crawford ain't gonna want to give Errol Spence that free range with the jab to his motherfucking eyes with them high cheekbones like that. He ain't gonna want that. Shout out to the brother Valentine in the super chat, coming through and showing love. Man down, let's get it. Big facts. So peep what I'm saying. I'm breaking this shit down for y'all slowly but surely. Peep what I'm saying. Follow me. So I think Terence Crawford gonna come in and try to go orthodox, see if he can throw that jab off. And he gonna realize that, okay, I'm fighting orthodox, which he can do. We seen him do that in the past, but he's more comfortable, as we've seen in recent times, more comfortable fighting out of the southpaw stance. He's also gonna recognize that I'm in a ring with an elite southpaw. This ain't just no regular motherfucker. This is an elite southpaw who is used to fighting orthodox fighters. So me fighting orthodox really ain't giving me no other advantage outside of being able to offset Errol Spence's jab and try to counter over that, which is a great thing if he can set those shots up the same way he did with Kell Brook. Shout out to the brother D Luckett back in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said, what if Bud neutralizes Errol's jab? That's a great question. We talking about that now. I don't think he's gonna be able to do that. I don't think he'll be able to do that. Let me tell you why. It's because I don't see Terence Crawford staying in the orthodox stance for a long period of time in that fight. I don't see him doing that. I don't see him staying orthodox. The only way Terence Crawford can neutralize Errol Spence's jab, he gonna have to fight orthodox. He gonna have to fight orthodox. Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all see Terence Crawford stand orthodox for the whole fight? Does anybody in here think Terence Crawford is gonna fight Errol Spence orthodox the whole fight? I think that's his best chance to win, but at the same time, it's really not. I think it's a catch-22 for Terence Crawford in this fight. If he does, he's gonna be a lesser version of himself, D Lucky. You know why? Because when he fights in an orthodox stance, he's more so boxing off of the back foot, on his toes. When the last time you seen him have a performance like the Victor Postol fight, where he boxed off the back foot for the whole night? When he goes southpaw mode, that's when he fighting. When he orthodox, that's more so when he boxing and probing. You not finna beat Errol Spence like that. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You not finna beat him like that. You not about to beat Errol Spence trying to box and beat pretty and shit. You not gonna win. He gonna have to fight him. If he does, I hope he fights orthodox the whole night, because that's a better chance for Errol Spence to win. Let me give you the catch-22. Let me give you the flip side of that. If he fights southpaw, even though I think he's more dangerous and more explosive out of the southpaw stance because he got power in both hands and he can immediately turn the right hand to a power jab, the same way he knocked out Kell Brook. Terence Crawford is phenomenal with being able to set shots up with both hands. He got power in both hands and he can set you up from either stance. But I know he's more explosive out of the southpaw stance. But even though I know that, you know what else gets taken away when he goes southpaw with another southpaw? He no longer has that lead hand to offset Errol Spence's jab. So they both gonna be mirroring each other, so to speak. The straight left hand, which Errol Spence throws so phenomenally, is gonna be in play now, to the head and to the body, for Terence Crawford too. But when Terence Crawford is in the southpaw stance, he's more so mixing it up, exchanging. We see he can box off the back foot and set traps. He did that with Sean Porter, running Sean Porter into the lead left uppercut. He did that. You know what I'm saying? He did that. But my thing is, I keep going back to this question. Let's say Terence Crawford, he's sharp. He landing shots. You know what I'm saying? He's setting up his little shots. You feel me? You know, throwing a 1, throwing a 1-2. You feel me? Throwing the lead right uppercut out of the southpaw, not the lead right uppercut, but the lead right hook out of the southpaw stance, trying to set up the left uppercut. He landing shit on the guards. Every once in a while, he'll land a nice little counter shot. But what if he not able to hurt Errol Spence? Can he outbox Errol Spence and get a decision with just throwing 1 or 2 counter shots? You know what I'm saying? Okay, you know, he tried to catch Errol Spence punching. You know what I'm saying? We know Errol Spence good with the high guard and got very subtle defense, subtle head movement. I don't think a lot of those punches gonna be landing clean. I think we gonna find that Terence Crawford is having a difficult time landing those crisp, clean shots that he normally get on everybody else. I think you're gonna see some good glancing shots that's clean, but it's gonna be where, you know, both fighters are turning, or they're like in mid exchange where Terence Crawford wasn't able to sit down on the shots, but they were clean punches. You feel me? I think you're gonna see a lot of that, where Terence Crawford really ain't been able to get all the steam on the shots, ain't really been able to load up on them. And you gonna see something, I think we gonna see in this fight, you gonna see a moment where Terence Crawford do land a hard shot that would normally knock down or hurt somebody else, but Errol Spence keep coming. What happens when Terence Crawford lands those shots that we would think is supposed to knock down or hurt Errol Spence, but they don't hurt Errol Spence? What happens? Says southpaw versus southpaw, Errol Spence wins. He's a natural southpaw. I totally agree. Because when they're both in a southpaw stance, I think that gives Errol Spence more access to Terence Crawford to the head and to the body with his jab. Because now he don't have to worry about that lead hand interfering with his jab. Now he ain't got to worry about, having that foot position battle with the orthodox fighter. You fight another southpaw, you can get your jab off and you can get that straight. That's why I wish we would have got the Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence fight. I wish that fight would have happened first, but I really wanted to see Errol Spence put on a display of foot positioning and landing the jab landing the jab in a straight left versus a southpaw. I thought that he would have had a great opportunity to show that off versus Manny Pacquiao. I really wanted to see that. Because I think that's what we gonna see versus Terence Crawford if he stays southpaw for the majority of the fight. You're going to see Errol Spence be able to have access right down the middle with the jab and the straight left, just like Kell Brook was having access when they were both orthodox. Terence Crawford is a sucker for the jab, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. Shout out to the brother D. Luckett back in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said Bud gonna expose that high guard. We gonna see. But I'm telling you, Terence Crawford is a sucker for the jab. When he's not in the stance that gives him an opportunity to throw off your lead hand, which in this fight he would have to be orthodox to do that, which in my opinion, he's a less explosive version of himself. He's a less meaner version of himself. He's a less powerful version of himself in orthodox than he is at southpaw. So if you telling me the only way that he's going to be able to try to neutralize Errol Spence's jab is by fighting orthodox the whole night, I still like Errol Spence in that situation. Because you got a natural southpaw who's used to fighting orthodox fighters. Everybody that fight Errol in orthodox try to neutralize his jab with their lead hand, but they can never fucking do it. Everybody try to do that. But then Terence Crawford fight Errol Spence in southpaw, and now you back in the same situation that you was in them first 2 rounds with Kell Brook. If Kell Brook can land the jab at will, go back and watch those first 2 rounds. Before Terence Crawford made that adjustment and switched stances to put his lead hand right up over and above Kell Brook's lead hand, go back and watch those first 2 rounds when they were both orthodox. Terence Crawford could not get out the way of the jab. He could not get out the way of the jab, man. Kell Brook couldn't miss with the jab. He couldn't miss. In 2 rounds, he fucked up Terence Crawford's eye. In 2 rounds. What you think Errol Spence gonna do? But look, I keep saying this. If Terence Crawford can't hurt Errol Spence, how do you win rounds? You're not going to beat Errol Spence by just throwing, 15 to 20 punches in a round. You can't beat Errol like that. Especially if your punches ain't hurting. I know Terence Crawford got power, but that don't mean them punches going to impact Errol Spence the same way. It's just like with Triple G. When Triple G fought Canelo, we know Triple G was that at that time for whatever he was. We know Canelo was that at that time for whatever he was. When they fought, Triple G was stopping everything. Like everything Gennady Golovkin was touching was going to sleep. Everything he was touching was going to bed. But as soon as he got in there with somebody sturdy, like Canelo Alvarez, when he got in there with somebody sturdy who can eat them motherfuckers like that, the fight go the distance. Motherfuckers wasn't going nowhere. So motherfuckers gonna tell me that Terence Crawford hit harder than Triple G? No. Shout out to the brother Lawrence RBE in a super chat coming through and showing love. He said EJ with the stoppage, but he can't have the loss of focus like he did versus Ugas. I also think Bud would make the mistake of trying to prove he a dog. That's a fact. Oh, we already know that. Salute to the brother Lawrence RBE. We already know that. I agree though. Errol Spence can't have no mental lapses. He can't have no dropping the mouthpiece, turning his head during the action and listening to the ref and shit. The ref trying to jump in saying stop, but one fighter still punching. Nah, he gonna have to be on his P's and Q's because Terence Crawford will take advantage. That's a fact. But I also believe that Terence Crawford will have moments in this fight where he get hit with a shot and he throw all that game plan shit, that strategy shit. I'm a box and everything that him and Bo Mack was talking about for them 8 to 10 weeks. He gonna throw all that shit out the window when the fight start. When Earl started getting close to him, landing them body shots, manipulating the guard, getting all up in his chest, making shit tough, landing that left uppercut that he was landing on Ugas. Even if Earl ain't hitting clean, head and body, even if he taxing them elbows, he taxing them shoulders, he taxing your hips. You know what I'm saying? That shit break you down over the course of the fight. Terence Crawford not gonna like that shit. He gonna want to fight. He definitely gonna try to prove he a dog. That's what I'm counting on as a boxing fan. I know both of these dudes gonna have that energy like, nah, I ain't stepping back. I'm not taking no steps back. Motherfucker gonna have to show me. You know what I'm saying? That's what make this fight what it is, though. 2 killers, 2 dogs. But I think the question that I'm asking is really gonna be the theme of the fight. Because if Terence Crawford can't hurt Errol Spence, I just don't see how he can win on the cards. Because I know Terence Crawford. Do y'all think all of a sudden Terence Crawford gonna have a high activity, a high work rate in this fight? Can anybody truly say that y'all believe Terence Crawford gonna go out there from round 1 to round 12 and throw punches in bunches? Can y'all see Terence Crawford going out there round 1, pushing, walking forward on Errol Spence, pushing him backwards behind a jab or behind a heavy offense and moving Errol Spence back and walking him down and breaking him? Can y'all see that? Can y'all see him upping his work rate at age 35 after several fights at 147 where he's off the back foot? You know what I'm saying? Everything, he'll throw a little jab, he probing, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? And try to tie you up. Shout out to the brother Alamane Cruz. You feel me? He boxing, setting you up by round 4, 5. That's when you will see he start letting shit go. But by that time, he done already got your rhythm down. But shit, by that time, Errol Spence, he picking it up too. Can we really expect Terence Crawford to go in and have that type of game plan? No, not logically. So my thing is, if those 1 or 2 counters that he throwing and landing on Earl, if that shit ain't hitting on nothing, how he gonna win rounds? Because Earl, we know he coming in behind the jab. You know what I'm saying? He coming in behind the jab. Good defense. Great distance control. Motherfuckers don't talk about Earl distance control like that. They don't talk about it enough. Errol Spence coming in behind the jab. Great distance control and leverage. You feel me? Great distance. Jab. To the head, to the body. Everything. And then he gonna bring that overhand left behind it. You feel me? And he gonna bring that bitch down to the body. Everything consistent. Boom, boom, boom. Everything consistent. Jab, jab. The work never stopped. You might see a small lull where they, because it's gonna be what I told y'all before. It's gonna be half chess match, half dog fight. You gonna see chess, and it's gonna be a dog fight for sure. But what you gonna see from Earl? Consistency. Why Bud trying to set up that perfect. Bud trying to set that perfect shot up. Earl still consistent. Blocking. Consistent. You know what I'm saying? Lead right hook. Let's say nothing crazy land for either fighter in the first 2 or 3 rounds. Who you think gonna win them rounds? Just off the controlling the pace of the fight, being the ring general, coming forward, having the higher activity, having something that all judges value, a consistent jab. Who you think winning those rounds? Errol the True Spence Jr. Not the motherfucker who just throwing, one or two. Not him. He not winning them rounds. If nobody landing nothing really crazy in them first few rounds, but you got one fighter that's coming forward behind the jab, with higher activity, with, even if he not landing clean head and body shots, you can hear them motherfuckers because he hitting elbows. He hitting hips. Like, you can see that shit. You can see that shit. Shout out to the brother Ultra Man in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, "What's up, contender? What's up, my brother? I appreciate you for pulling up. What's good? What's good?" Shout out to the brother D Lucky back in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, "Earl better stop that lunging he be doing." You right. He can't do that versus Terence Crawford. He can't do that. He can't do that. He can't do that. And I truly believe that's one reason why I'm happy this fight not in Dallas. That's one reason why I'm happy. I would have loved for the fight to be here, but that's one reason why I'm happy that it's not here, because I think what you saw in that Ugas fight, that lunging, number one, it was time out the ring. And then also it was him being anxious, coming out to Southside the realest, Big Tuck. You know what I'm saying? You in the city, in your hometown, you got 40, 50,000 people in here. You feel me? It's a unification match. Earl was trying to go crazy. That hometown, you feel me? Like, he performed great at home, but I seen this before when he fought Alejandro Barrera at the Bomb Factory in the city. He gave himself a B grade for that performance. You know why? Because he was overzealous trying to get a knockout for the home team. But that's why I'm happy this fight in Vegas is because it's going to give Errol Spence that mindset like it's a road game. I think Earl going to be way sharper this time around, bro. Like, all that lunging you seen in the first couple of rounds with Ugas, you're not going to see that because he understands what's at stake. He understands he can't make them mistakes. I think this shit fighting in Vegas is gonna give Earl that road game type of vibe. I think you're gonna see Earl way sharper. So Terence Crawford, I think you're gonna see Terence Crawford sharp too. Shout out to the brother Mike Harmillo in the building. If I ain't already shouted you out, I appreciate you for pulling up. But all I'm saying, bro, if Terence Crawford can't hurt Errol Spence, how does he get the victory? I can't really see him just outboxing Earl and winning a decision on the cards. It's going to be tough. We could talk politics like, well, Errol Spence is, he's the bigger star. He's a PBC face of that organization, a big player in the sport. Showtime setting up the fight. They ain't no stranger to Errol Spence. We could talk politics as far as like if it was a close decision, who gonna get the nod, but I don't even think it's gonna be that type of party. I think Errol Spence, if it goes to the cards, I think Errol Spence would have decisively won the fight. Because if it make it to the cards, that tells me a couple of things. It tells me, number one, that Terence Crawford couldn't land that shot that we all think that he can land. That all the people that's picking Terence Crawford by knockout, that's going to tell me that he never landed that shot that he was looking for all night. It never came. Just like Triple G couldn't knock out Canelo. It's going to tell me that that shot that he was looking for never came. It's also going to tell me that Errol Spence's defense was very good. Shout out to my brother Eclectic Agitator in the building. It's going to tell me that Errol Spence's defense was very good. It's going to tell me that Errol Spence has success controlling the distance in the fight. If this fight goes 12, it's going to tell me a lot of shit. Before I even hear the judges like cards, before I even hear the decision, before I even hear the results, the fact that it went 12 gonna tell me that Terence Crawford couldn't hurt Errol Spence. He couldn't hurt him. Because we all know Terence Crawford is a great finisher. I think Terence Crawford is arguably the best finisher in the sport. So if it go 12, that means he didn't hurt Errol Spence, because when Terence Crawford gets you hurt, he gonna finish you. So if the fight went 12, that means a lot of shit didn't go Terence Crawford's way. A lot of shit didn't go his way. Shout out to my brother D Lucky, back in the super chat, showing love. He said this will be the best version of Bud. He hurting something. Hey, we gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna see. So, like I said, the fight go 12. That's not a good sign for Terence Crawford. It's not a good sign. Can y'all, like, for the people that's picking Terence Crawford, and most of the people that's picking Terence Crawford, they not picking him by UD. They not picking him by decision. Everybody that I've seen pick Terence Crawford, they picking him by knockout. So if y'all picking Terence Crawford by knockout and the fight goes 12, you telling me y'all feeling confident that Terence Crawford gonna be the one get his hand raised? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. He said it's not a good sign for Errol either if it goes 12. It's a great sign for Errol Spence, because Errol Spence gonna have the higher activity. He's gonna be the ring general. He's gonna be the one coming forward. His jab gonna be more active. His body attack gonna be more active. He's gonna impose his size and his will on Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford gonna be the one moving backwards. It's a great sign for Errol if the fight go 12. It's a great sign. I'm willing to bet that if the fight does go 12, it's an automatic win for Errol Spence. It's a great sign if the fight goes 12 for Errol Spence. And then you also have the flip side of that if Terence Crawford is having a performance where he wasn't able to land that shot that we all talking about, how does he keep Errol from stopping him? When Errol Spence started picking up steam in the 7th round, he already done put 3-4 rounds in the bank, 3-4-5 rounds in the bank. Let's say we go into round 7, Errol Spence up 4-2. Let's say we go into round 7, Errol Spence up 4 rounds to 2. And now he picking up steam. Remember round 7? Remember, we got track records and film that shows you that Errol Spence gets stronger as the fight goes on. Remember, in round 6, when the mouthpiece came out, Yordenis Ugas got that free shot on Errol. Errol ate that shit, you know what I'm saying? Finished the round strong. What happened after that in the 7th round? He came back and had his strongest round of the fight up until that point. So let's say Errol, he up 4-2 going into the 7th. He finna be picking that shit up. He started going crazy. That's when he turned into that machine. He got the perspiration going. He done worked up, you know what I'm saying? The energy done caught his second win. He in rhythm now. He feel like he know where you gonna be at, where he wanna put you at to get his shit off. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it's like you just trying not to get ran the fuck over at that point. When round 7, round 8 hit, you trying not to get ran the fuck over at that point. You trying not to get steamrolled out that motherfucker. After round 7, round 8, you trying to survive. Shout out to the brother D Lucky, back in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said, a few sharp counters will slow Spence's punch output down. Spence gets off balance sometimes. He said that will be another issue Earl will have against Bud. I know that's what y'all banking on. But see, that's what I keep trying to tell you. A few sharp counter shots, that's awesome. especially if they have that steam on it that we expecting from a Terence Crawford. My question is, what if he can't hurt Errol Spence? Because we've seen fighters of this magnitude get in the ring and the power is not the determining factor. Again, I give you the example. Canelo and Triple G. Canelo was stopping everything, but he get in the ring with a real opponent and the knockouts go down. You get in the ring with a real top flight opponent and the knockouts disappear. All 3 fights, not one knockdown. Canelo, Triple G, 3 fights, no knockdown. So if Errol Spence has shown you that he got a great fucking chin, what makes you think that Terence Crawford gonna knock him out? I'm not saying that he can't. I actually think Terence Crawford can knock him out, but I'm saying, what if he can't? How you gonna win on the cards? It's not happening. Shout out to the brother JR in the super chat, coming through and showing love. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate that. I find it very hard to imagine Terence Crawford winning a decision. I seen that. Shout out to the brother Amar Rashad in the super chat, coming through and showing love. And he just gave y'all some real game. He said, go watch Bud versus Jose Benavidez Jr. again. He said Jose hit Bud with a body shot in the 6th that made him retreat for the rest of the round with over a minute left. EJ ready. Hey, look, that Benavidez fight showed me a lot. Benavidez didn't have no use of his legs, bruh, at all. No use of his legs, yet he was able to go 12 rounds with Terence Crawford. You know how he did that shit with positioning and a jab. That's how he lasted 12 rounds. Now imagine somebody that's as long or longer than a Benavidez with great mobility to move forward, backwards, or laterally. We know Errol Spence takes lateral steps. He takes subtle steps back to keep his distance. Great jab coming forward. Got a great pivot game. You know what I'm saying? Great pivot game to the left and to the right. Benavidez made it 12 rounds with Terence Crawford with positioning and a jab because he didn't have shit else. He didn't have no mobility. He couldn't move shit. He was right there for the picking for Terence Crawford. But every time, let me give Benavidez some credit. Every time he got close to Terence Crawford, he made that shit count. In them early rounds, every time he got close to Terence Crawford, he made that shit count. Jim said, Earl don't pivot. Bruh, this man said, Earl don't pivot. Jim, hey, look, I'm gonna show you a little grace because I ain't never seen you in here before. And I'm guessing that you know, maybe this fight, because this fight gonna bring some new fans. Maybe you new to the sport, brother. Maybe you new to the sport. I'm gonna give you a little grace. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hit you over the side of your head. I'm gonna give you a little grace. Earl don't pivot. That's one of his best attributes. How you think Errol Spence is able to do what he do without having this extravagant back foot game? Without having this elaborate fleet of foot movement and all of this, you know, extra, you know, Chris Algieri, the Karen shit, the dude that fought Boots, Karen Chikazian. How you think Errol Spence able to do what he do without having that fleet of foot like that? It's because of the pivot game. How you think he able to create the angles that he create? It's because of the pivot game. Shout out to the Queen Nick J in the building. What's good? Said, go ahead and sock him one time. One of Errol Spence's biggest attributes, one of the things that make him so successful, one of the reasons why he's always able to get consistent leverage on his shots is because of the pivot game. Go back and watch the Mikey Garcia, brother. Go back and watch the Mikey Garcia fight, brother. He pivoted the whole fight. Everything was jab, pivot. You know what I'm saying? Throw some, pivot again. Everything was off the pivot. Go back and watch the Ugas fight. I actually put up a short with Errol Spence pivoting versus Ugas. The pivot game is why Earl don't have to be all extravagant with the back foot game. It's because of the pivot. The same shit you see Frank Martin do. That's why they able to conserve. I actually put out a video, it's a short, where Frank Martin talks about how Derrick James teaches his fighters to be able to do the least amount of work to get the maximum result, conserving your energy. Instead of giving you so much extra movement laterally and going backwards, all you got to do is have like a subtle pivot to reposition, put your opponent in a vulnerable position where you can get your shots off and they not as comfortable throwing something back. Errol Spence's pivot game is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. That's why he's able, that's why when the ninth round come around, the 10th round, that's why Errol Spence still throwing 80, 100 punches. And his opponent dog-tied, ready to go. Either his opponent dog-tied, ready to go, or that motherfucker in survival mode trying to make it to the 12th round. Because Earl's still picking up steam. He ain't waste all that energy that other fighters be wasted doing all that extra movement. It's just one of the reasons why Shakur Stevenson is great. Now, in my opinion, Shakur don't utilize the pivot as much as Errol Spence. Shakur more so use that subtle half step back. And he do a lot of range finding with the jab to make sure that he's at the distance that he want to stay in. You know, Shakur good at, he'll put that hand in your face and then bring that left right up under that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He might take a half step back and then, throw a straight left. But he got the pivot game too. But Errol Spence has mastered the pivot game. It's so subtle, you don't even really see that shit unless you really paying attention. It's so subtle. It's so subtle. How you think Earl was able to land those left uppercuts on Ugas so consistently? It was at one point he started throwing that shit at will because he would pivot out of range. He knew he fucked up Ugas' eye, so he'll pivot out of Ugas' vision so he can land that left uppercut. Pivot to the right, boom, left uppercut all night. Then bring that shit back, pivot to the left, he going to the body with the right and the left. Pivot game phenomenal. Come on, brother. I'm going to need you to go back and watch a little film, brother. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Shout out to the brother Edgar Camacho in the building. Said Bud Crawford going to stop Earl. And then thank Al Heyman. Hey, man, it's possible. It's possible. Shout out to the brother Eagle City 56 in the building. What's good? Said, I never see fighters go to Spence body. I wonder if Crawford would put that in the game plan. That's a great point. Let's talk about that. I think Crawford, he has to go to the body in this fight. He got to go to the body in this fight. That's actually something that I want to see. I want to see Terence Crawford go to the body. Ugas had success going to the body late in that fight with Errol Spence because he really had no other option. He tried to go to the body early, but Earl wasn't really having it. Earl had created a distance to be able to probe his way on the inside and kind of find his range, so he wasn't really allowing Ugas to get to the body without Ugas overextending and making himself vulnerable. He did later on in the fight after Earl had lost all respect for Ugas and just started like getting in his wheelhouse, staying on the inside, roughing him up. So Ugas had nothing else but to throw one of them big ass looping right hands to the body. And you can see that, Earl didn't particularly like that shit late in the fight. Terence Crawford is a good body puncher. But He doesn't go to the body consistently enough for me that I've seen in the past to be able to use that versus Errol Spence. I think he gonna need to be more intentional about going to the body. I actually want to see that. I want to see Terence Crawford go to the body on Errol Spence. I think that's gonna be key for Terence Crawford. He got to go to the body, and he got to go to the body early. The only thing with going to the body on Spence, and one to the brother that said he never really see people go to the body. It's funny because I heard Boot say that shit too, and that's true. The reason why you don't see that is because Errol Spence's distance control is so great. Errol Spence, AD Lucky, don't nobody like it. Don't nobody like getting hit to the body. Nobody. Newsflash, nobody likes getting hit to the body. Terence Crawford don't like that shit neither. Nobody likes it. But the brother just told you when Benavidez hit him, he circled around the ring for a whole minute. You feel me? But the reason why you don't see a lot of fighters go to Errol Spence's body again is because of the distance. The distance control, the jab. You give up a lot of shit trying to get to Errol Spence's body. Errol Spence is a great inside fighter. So when you put yourself in a position of lunging in, trying to land a body shot, or because when Earl get close to you, it's hard to go to the body on Earl when y'all both like in a phone booth. When Earl get in that mode where he in phone booth mode and he trying to like break your shit, it's hard to go to the body. He's taking away all those spaces. All those available areas is getting taken away when Errol Spence get close to you. He know how to shield all that shit off and be able to put you in an angle where you can't get shit, you can't get nothing significant off. Whole time, he landing all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Overhand left, he landing on the hips. You feel me? He landing on the shoulders. He throwing that sneaky left uppercut on the inside. By the time the ref break that shit up, you done took some damage. Shout out to my brother Everything Boxing in the building. What's good, man? Phenomenal boxing channel, bro. I appreciate you for pulling up. By the time you get close enough to go to Errol Spence's body on the inside, he already got you where he wants you. Outside of that, he's creating a distance when he's fighting at mid-range. It's hard to get to Errol Spence's body because you won't have to risk getting hit with something crazy. Said Bud is looking forward to Spence going to the body. I know. I remember the exchange when they met up in Oklahoma at the Maurice Hooker fight. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. I remember Terence Crawford like, I know you gonna try that body shot shit. I remember that. And Errol Spence, when they was on ESPN, Errol Spence told him, he was like, shit, y'all already know what I'm coming with. Great jab. I go to the body. See, Earl kept it simple because that's what everybody see. Y'all see a great jab, a fighter that's going to step soon as he get in the ring, a fighter that throw punches and bunches, a fighter that throw great body shots. Y'all see that, but a lot of people be missing the subtle, small nuances. Like one of the brothers just said, Errol Spence don't pivot. That's crazy. And I think that's why Earl is so dominant, is what you see on film. If you really don't know what you're looking at, what you see on film don't jump out at you. It's not glamorous. You feel me? It ain't eye-popping. But I want to go back to one of the breakdowns that the brother Malik Scott, Deontay Wilder's trainer, he did an interview not too long ago, and we talked about this, how he was saying that he was giving props to Derrick James fighters because he was able to spend some time and kind of see what they do. And he was saying, you take a fighter like a Derrick James fighter, let's say Errol Spence, who the same way that they train in the gym, the same way they hit the mitts, the same way they on the heavy bag, everything that they work on, that shit actually translates in the ring, under the lights on fight night. Everything is so subtle, fundamental, disciplined, sharp. Even when they not landing clean shots on your head and your body, they landing on something. Because the shots are set up to come consistently behind intelligence. You feel me? It's like, it's hard to explain. It's like chaos, but in the most disciplined and confined way. It's like fucking intelligent chaos, the way Derrick James teach his fighters. And he was saying that I'll take a fighter like that as opposed to a guy doing all that shucking and jiving, all that extra, switching and, making all the Roy Jones shit. And I love Roy Jones. You know what I'm saying? But all the Roy Jones shit, all the, the flamboyant athleticism, no shot to the brother Roy Jones, no shot to Terence Crawford, just making a point. He was saying, look, I'd rather take these guys that everything that they work on in the gym, they translate that shit to the fight. But you see a lot of guys doing all these fancy movements in the gym, sparring, but you don't see that shit translate the same way under the lights on fight night. That subtle shit, I just said that in the video. I think this is a great opportunity for Errol Spence to show the fans how valuable simplicity really is. Because a lot of that shit don't pop off to the naked eye on film, to the untrained eye, so to speak, to someone who isn't as keen as to what they looking at. Like, how can you watch 3 Errol Spence fights and say he don't pivot? That's crazy. It's crazy. But again, like I said, man, if Terence Crawford, if he goes in with that same game plan, again, I'm telling you, I think he gonna try to come out orthodox, see if he can use his lead hand to offset Errol Spence's jab. That's what I think we gonna see. And I think he gonna find out that me fighting orthodox versus this elite level southpaw who is used to fighting orthodox fighters, he's used to everybody that's fighting orthodox trying to use their lead hand to manipulate the jab and take it away, and that shit don't work. Let me go southpaw when I'm more comfortable. Let me go southpaw where I'm more explosive, where I fight more fluid, where the offense just come a little bit more natural to me. And Terence Crawford gonna have that dog in him soon as Errol start getting close to him, where he can smell Errol Spence cologne, and he gonna see, like, no, this motherfucker ain't bullshitting. He for real about all this. Then he gonna have to go southpaw, and that's when it's gonna be a fight. Terence Crawford gonna want to dig deep and show that he a dog, and that's when he gonna get in trouble, because now that they both southpaw, that lead hand ain't there to manipulate the jab no more. That gives Errol Spence free reign with the jab straight down the middle, and he love to throw the straight left to the head and to the body. Go back and watch the Lamont Peterson fight. And mind you, I think Terence Crawford is everything that we ever thought he could be. We already seen that. I don't think we seen the best of Errol Spence yet. Every fight, Errol Spence getting better. Every fight, Errol showing new wrinkles. The Ugas fight showed me way more angles. I've seen Errol Spence use angles before, but the Ugas fight showed me way more angles. You feel me? You feel me? The Ugas fight showed me way more angles. You know what I'm saying? You see your boy Jim Jim. Hey, Jim Jim, I had to give him the game. He didn't like that. He didn't like that. I told you, brother, I ain't want to hit you over the side of the head, but now you coming here talking crazy. Now you got to get sniped down, brother. I gave him some news he can use, and he didn't want to use it. He didn't understand. Come on, brother, go back and watch some film. Come back, change your YouTube name. Change your profile. Change your avatar, and then come back. Come back. You know what I'm saying? Come back, brother. Come back, brother. Get your mind right, man. I'm trying to tell you. Go back and watch a little bit more film and get your mind right. Understand what you're watching. Understand what you're watching, brother. Understand what you're watching. Shout out to my brother Armand Rashad. I don't know why it's blocking off the super chat. I see it coming through, Hey, Armand Rashad, drop a regular chat because for some reason my screen is blocking off the super chat. Drop a regular chat and I'll read it. The same shit that you put on the super chat. I appreciate you. Said it's gonna be a great fight, but I'll be waiting on your immediate reaction after this fight. Might not be. Said it might not be immediate. Hey, bruh. Y'all know how I'm rocking, bruh. You know what I'm saying? No matter how the outcome turn out, however it's gonna go, hey, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think there should be no excuses on either side, bruh. Whoever win need to get full credit. Whoever win this fight is the number one pound for pound in the sport. No doubt about it. I just see way more ways for Errol Spence to win as opposed to Terence Crawford. That's all I'm saying. I think it's a 50-50 fight. And the reason that I have it, you know, a 50-50 fight is because I believe Terence Crawford is all of these things that I'm saying that, like, what if he can't do this or that? The reason it's 50-50 for me is because I believe he can do these things. I believe Terence Crawford can land that perfect kill shot to knock out Errol Spence. I believe Terence Crawford can make adjustments to be able to, like the brother said, Errol Spence said, on paper, that's what it looked like. So until I see otherwise, I'm going in with the belief that Terence Crawford can treat Errol Spence like he treat everybody else. I'm going in with the belief that Crawford gonna be as sharp and as focused as he ever been. He gonna be as mean as he ever been. His punch is gonna be as crisp and as hard and as, you know, as accurate as he ever been. I believe those things. But I also believe that I never seen Errol Spence knocked down. I never seen him in trouble to the point where I feel like, damn, he finna get knocked out. So if I never seen these things, shout out to the OG Mr. Munt in the building, what's good? If I never seen these things from Errol Spence, him being stopped, being hurt badly, where I'm like, damn, he finna be fucked up. Him getting dropped like Terence Crawford got dropped by Mean Machine. I never seen these things. So I raised the question, if Terence Crawford can't hurt Errol Spence, how does he win? Because we have seen fights where the elite of the elite got in the ring and there was a stoppage. If you go back to Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns, I literally just watched that fight the other day. You know what? Sugar Ray stopped Tommy Hearns in like the 14th round, the 14th or the 15th. I think it was the 14th round. That fight was back and forth, through and through the whole fight. Bars was going crazy. Phenomenal matchup. The best of the best. Undisputed at welterweight. It's literally the same shit that we about to see. I mean, we don't know if the fight gonna turn out like that, but the stage is set the same way. And that fight went back and forth, back and forth. Tommy Hearns had his moments where it looked like he was playing with his food. Before that 5th round, it was Sugar Ray Leonard started landing that shit on him and found his rhythm and ended up stopping him late in the fight. TKO, ref had to pull him up off of him. No! Get him up off of him. Tommy Hearns couldn't take no more. Ref had to jump in. Yeah, ref had to jump in. But my point is, you seen situations where two great fighters get in and it's a stoppage. Hagler, Hearns. They threw all technique out the window and just said, fuck it, we fighting this motherfucker. But you don't see that often, though. Especially in today's boxing. You don't see a Hagler Hearns type of fight in today's boxing because everything's so technical. You know what I'm saying? Everything's so technical. You know, motherfuckers been watching a whole lot of Floyd. Motherfuckers been watching a whole lot of, Terence Crawford. Everything's so technical. You don't see guys just get in like, we finna go rock 'em, sock 'em, especially two black fighters. You don't see that often. Motherfuckers gonna use their mind in that ring. You know what I'm saying? But when it was Hagler Hearns, it was like, fuck it, we finna fight. That's just what it was. You seen a stoppage. But again, oftentimes, when it's two guys on this level, you don't see stoppages. You don't see the stoppages. You see fights going the distance. That's what you see. You see fights going the distance. You dig what I'm saying? Look at it's a lot of examples. It's so many examples where you see when the level of competition go up, the stoppages go down. Like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was stopping everything, but when he finally got in there with Danny Garcia, when he finally got in there with Sean Porter, he wasn't stopping shit. You know what I'm saying? When Triple G finally got in there with Canelo, he didn't stop shit. All these motherfuckers is known for power. All of them. Known for power. When Marcos Maidana got in with Floyd, he didn't stop shit. Shout out to my brother Jay Harris, Too Real in the building. When these fighters get in the ring with these elite level guys, motherfuckers ain't stopping shit like that. Said, why just go in and get your head beat in when the art of boxing is to hit and not get hit? Facts. That's a fact. That's a fact. But I could understand why Hagler and Hearns had, because them boys, they was on straight gangster shit. Like Hagler and Hearns, that fight, some fights like that. Some fights be like that. I don't think this one is going to be one of the, it could be, but I think Terence Crawford and Errol Spence is way too smart. They not going to fight like that. It's going to be, I said it's going to be half chess match, half dog fight. At some point in the fight, you going to see Hagler Hearns, but it ain't going to be the whole fight. They ain't going to just go straight to it at the bell. They too smart. And they too, they understand. Not saying that Hagler and Hearns wasn't smart fighters, because they were. Especially Hagler. He was a very intelligent fighter. But these guys, it's so much more on the line. Plus, nobody even want to get a other fighter opportunity to get a one-up. They don't even want to put themselves in a position of where, oh, I did some dumb shit and I let them land that shit on me. You know what I'm saying? This fight, I think this fight gonna be half chess match, half dog fight. But the point I'm making is that oftentimes when you get two high-level guys like this, you don't see stoppages. You don't see stoppages. I'm not saying that it's not going to be a stoppage or it can't be. I'm just saying you don't see that often. Shout out to the brother Jay Harris, Too Real, in a super chat, coming through and showing love. He said, what percentage do you give EJ versus Bud to end in a stoppage? That's a great question. I think it's like a, let me stick to my guns. I think it's a 50% chance. It's a 50% chance. Because I'm giving Terence Crawford, I only see Terence Crawford winning by knockout. So I'm giving him a 50% chance to stop Errol Spence. So I'm going to say 50% chance that this fight could end in a stoppage either way. Either way. Both of these guys going to come in the ring. They going to be sharp and focused as fuck. It's going to be half chess match, half dog fight. Motherfuckers ain't, like Earl said, when I get in the ring, I'm stepping. But it's going to be intelligent. And the same thing with Crawford. I know Crawford, he gonna be waiting on the earliest mistake that he can find that Errol Spence make and try to capitalize on it. That's a fact. But I think these guys gonna be so trying to feel each other out. You know what I'm saying? Woo woo, everything just like it ain't gonna be like the Haney and Loma fight, but it's gonna be like the Haney and Loma fight. And when I say that, I'm talking about, of course, both of these guys got way more power than both of them. That's facts. But what I'm saying, stylistically and the temperature of the fight, it's going to be so much high-level shit. It's going to be so much like mental gymnastics. It's going to be so much strategy. I'm going to tell y'all what's one of the most interesting aspects in this fight, the corners. Hearing what Derrick James is telling Earl in the corner. Hearing what Bo Mack is telling Terence Crawford in the corner. That's going to be one of the most interesting aspects of the fight, the cornerman. You know what I'm saying? The instructions that's going on in the corner, the improvising, you know, the adjustments that's being made, that's going to be very interesting because this shit going to be a high level, high speed, violent chess match. This is going to be a violent, high speed chess match. So, but I do think that there could be a stoppage. 50% chance. All I'm doing is just putting emphasis on the fact that, number one, we never seen Errol Spence. We never even seen him knocked down. We never we never just truly seen him like hurt bad. And of course, we never seen him stopped. So to think that motherfuckers expecting Terence Crawford to stop Errol Spence, a big, strong welterweight with a great chin who never been stopped before, it's like, that's not probable. Not saying it's impossible, but it's just not probable. If I had to bet money that Terence Crawford was going to, I wouldn't bet that shit. I wouldn't if I had to bet everything I own on Terence Crawford stopping Errol Spence, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But I would bet that the fight go to distance. Because I think even though I'm giving it 50% chance, I would lean more towards the fight going a distance as opposed to there being a stoppage. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Shout out to the brother and Grill One. He said Bud is banking on a counter that EJ won't see. That's what he banking on. You heard what he said on $1 million worth of game. And I think he said it up there with Stephen A. Smith. He said, if I get him hurt, I'm going for the knockout. He's banking on landing that perfect shot. Said Earl better come in pressing Crawford from the jump and not let up. If he let up on Bud, he's going to get stopped. How many undefeated fighters have Crawford stopped? I hear you, bro. But Errol Spence also stopped Ocampo, who was undefeated. How much weight does that really hold, though? Errol Spence stopped Ocampo with a body shot. But he was undefeated, too. But it's Ocampo. They don't hold no weight. They don't hold no weight at all. Triple G stopped hella motherfuckers. But when he got in there with Canelo, he ain't stopped shit. And Canelo's a smaller guy coming up. Styles make fights, but it's the level of competition too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother Mike Brown, XCV, in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said, I agree, we'll pick a lot of boxing jewels from this fight if we pay attention. That's a fact. It's going to be so much for us to learn and just observe during the course of this fight from the fighters, their tendencies, their mannerisms, the cornermen, the energy. Bro, it's going to be so much that we learn because we're about to experience something that you really only get maybe once or twice in a generation. You might get a fight like this once or twice if you lucky in a single generation of fighting, of boxing fans and fighters. It's so much that we gonna learn. Like we're literally about to see the highest level of the sport in our time. In our time, like this current age and era of boxing, we're about to see the absolute highest level of it. We're gonna learn a lot. Shout out to the OG Mr. Month in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said it's really not a good idea to give Bud too much credit because Bud's fans not gonna give Earl none. They speak in certainty when there is none. You know what? I gotta keep it 100, Mr. Month. Even though I know, a lot of these Terence Crawford fans be on bullshit, I just gotta keep it 100 with myself and with the people. You know what I'm saying? So, I gotta call it how I see it. You feel me? I gotta call it how I see it. Terence Crawford, he a great fighter, but I think a lot of I think we all gonna learn something on that night, bro. Especially Terence Crawford fans. Motherfuckers gonna learn how valuable simplicity is. They gonna learn how valuable the fundamentals are. They gonna learn how important it is to have a great coach and be able to go out there and execute a game plan and stick to that shit and see it through. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me make sure my boy rinsed up around this motherfucker. You feel me? My brother Everything Boxing said, Ocampo showed he tough and he can fight when he fought Fundora. That's a fact. And that win did look way better later on. You know what I'm saying? Because Ocampo put up a great effort in that Fundora fight. A lot of people felt like if he could have, made a subtle adjustment here or there, could have won that fight. That's a fact. That win looked way better for Errol Spence, especially with people talking about Earl should go up and challenge Fundora. You know what I'm saying? Like, Earl didn't put Ocampo put him under the ring with one body shot in the first round, but then Fundora go tooth and nail with him. That's a fact. That win looked way better. You know what I'm saying? But, when Buddy bring up the fact that, Terence Crawford has knocked out undefeated fighters, it's like, okay, that sound good. Errol Spence has done the same thing. But what does that mean, though? Because at this point, we talking about the elite of the elite. So they gonna have to show it on this level. Shout out to the brother D Luckett. Back in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said simplicity works against average, not elite. That's cap, brother. That's cap. I actually think simplicity is what can make you an elite fighter. I think simplicity is what gets you over the edge when all that extra shit don't work. That's what gets you over the edge. You know what made Floyd Mayweather great? A lot of it was simplicity. Yeah, he had special effects when it came to reflexes, head movement, defense, but a lot of that shit was fundamentals. Throwing a perfect jab. You know what I'm saying? Having a great jab, going to the body. Floyd Mayweather was a great body puncher, and he did it on a consistent basis. Simplicity, throwing crisp shots to the body consistently, having a game plan and being consistent with that shit. Simplicity, knowing when to clinch, when to tie motherfuckers up. Distance, simplicity. That's what kept him where he was. That's what kept him making sure that he was in shape year in and year out. Simplicity. It's the simple shit. It's the simple shit. That extra shit can take you over the top too. But I think in this fight, we gonna see the difference between a fighter that has all of the fundamentals with a consistent offense and defensive weaponry, a consistent offensive attack, and you're going to see a guy who has a lot of the different special effects. We going to see the difference. I would choose this over that. That's just me. I would choose having a great coach like Derrick James can give me sound advice and instructions when shit get hot in the ring over Bomac, who just tell you keep fighting, or who just tell you got to find your rhythm, or who just tell you, come on, bud, let's get it. Simplicity, fundamentals, a foundation, having something to go back to always. Hey, when shit wasn't working for, if Floyd Mayweather was ever in a situation where shit wasn't working, you know what he can always rely on? Getting on my stick and moving. You know what Floyd can always rely on? getting on my stick and moving and tying the motherfucker up when it get too hot. He can always go back to that. Simplicity. When shit get too hot for Errol Spence, he can always go back to the jab. He can always go back to the high guard and controlling distance when he need to. And when he want to get close to a motherfucker, leaning on creating those angles and attacking the body, making the shit look good to the judges. He can always go back to that when shit get hot. Shout out to the brother Amar Rashad back in that super chat coming through and showing love. He said simplicity equals Jones Jr. versus Tarver 2. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to the brother J Harris 2 Real back in that super chat coming through and showing love. He said, I know this is overused, but EJ is literally the Tim Duncan of boxing. Fundamentals trump everything in the long run. Facts. When shit get too hot, Errol Spence has a set foundation he can always go back to. The same shit with Floyd. The same shit with Sugar Ray Leonard. And I'm not saying that Terence Crawford don't have a foundation. I think Terence Crawford's foundation is shit. When shit get hot, he want to fight. For Terence Crawford, when the shit get hot, he turn into, fuck it, I'm finna go into dog mode and I'm finna go crazy on him. Because after he switched southpaw and that shit still don't work, it's gonna be a fight. He's just gonna turn into a fight. He said Roy Jones was at the wrong weight. Well, D Lucky, I hope you don't say Terence Crawford at the wrong weight when he get his ass whooped on July 29th. I don't want to hear you say nothing about Terence Crawford. Oh, he was at the wrong weight. I don't want to hear that shit when he get his ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? When he get his ass whooped, I don't want to hear he was too small. He was at the wrong weight. Said, how do you know southpaw is not going to work? I don't think Terence Crawford fighting in the southpaw stance for Errol Spence is gonna be the same that it's been for fighting orthodox fighters or fighting lesser skilled southpaws. Because Errol Spence's jab is gonna be right down the middle when he's in southpaw. Again, I gave the example when Terence Crawford fought Kell Brook. When they were both orthodox, and it was a mirror where his lead hand is not over the other fighter's lead hand. That means that he don't have anything right there to manipulate or throw off the lead hand if they're fighting in the same stances. That means the jab is going to be straight down the middle. That means Errol Spence is going to have more access to the jab than he has versus orthodox fighters. The reason that Terence Crawford switched to southpaw versus Kell Brook is because with Kell Brook being an orthodox fighter, if you go southpaw, now he can put his lead hand over Kell Brook's left jab. So now he can either parry that shit, you know what I'm saying? He can use it to offset, and he can time you when you throw your jab. Now I can come over the top and throw Terence Crawford got power in both hands. So now that I'm in southpaw, you in orthodox, if I know Kell Brook was not mixing up the face or nothing with the jab, bro, he started to get calculated with that shit. He started to get like predictable with that shit, right? So let's say, Kell Brook, he already coming in anticipating throwing the jab. Now Terence Crawford, he timing him, using his momentum against him, knocked him out with a jab in the southpaw. If both Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are fighting southpaw, he don't have that same advantage no more because their lead hands are not right across from each other. That means Errol Spence will be able to get his jab off even easier than he would versus an orthodox fighter. Because everybody try to take away Errol Spence's jab in orthodox, but it never fucking works. It just so happened that Errol ain't fought nobody that's switching to southpaw. So that's why I really wanted to see the Manny Pacquiao fight, because he would have showed you how easy it was to land a jab on the southpaw. Y'all gonna see how easy, when Terence Crawford goes southpaw, watch how easy it is to land that jab. Watch. He gonna land that motherfucker at will. Watch. Watch. To the head and to the body. When Terence Crawford goes southpaw, Errol Spence gonna have a field day with the jab. Watch. Watch. And like I said, if Terence Crawford not landing them counter shots that y'all expected him to land, he gonna get beat up. He gonna get beat up. Said Errol jab not that impressive when he uses jab against Ugas, he couldn't push him back. He pushed Ugas back the whole night. And think about it. Errol Spence, the jab is not always gonna be utilized the same in every fight. Errol Spence used the jab a lot just to occupy your guard and be able to get other shit off. He might use it that way. Or he might use it as a power jab to fuck your eye up and to push you back and to keep you honest and to keep that distance. You know what I'm saying? He might use it as a rangefinder to get to the body. But the jab is going to be involved. See, that's the thing. You don't know how Errol going to use the jab, but you know that motherfucker going to be heavily involved. You know that. You know the jab going to be heavily involved. Shout out to the brother Mike Brown, XCV, in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said, did you used to box or do you go to a gym currently? Man, I definitely use boxing as like one of my, it's like the everything when it comes to fitness for me. You know what I'm saying? I never fought in the amateurs, never did no tournaments, none of that. I just always loved boxing, and I take that, the training, the lifestyle, and I just apply that shit to my regular life. I do go to a gym. Shout out to Duncanville Boxing Academy. Shout out to my brothers, No Excuses, It's Levels Boxing. You know what I'm saying? They be working with me at the Duncanville Boxing Academy. You feel me? Shout out to them, you know. Definitely some talent that come through that boxing gym. You feel me? Shout out to the brother Mar Rashad, back in that super chat, coming through and showing love. He said EJ is the LeBron. He said EJ is the LeBron of boxing because his hate is irrational and because he was deemed the next great. The truth, retired and veterans hated it. I did see a lot of hate when Earl came on the scene. I seen that shit when Sugar Ray Leonard picked Mikey Garcia to beat Errol Spence. Why? Because it's Mikey. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely some hate for sure. Definitely some hate. Said Bud is a dangerous counterpuncher. I'm trying to tell you, Bud is a bad boy. Size don't mean nothing. We gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna see. And I agree with you. I believe that Terence Crawford is a dangerous counterpuncher. But we gonna see. We gonna see. Like I said, you're not gonna beat Errol Spence. You gotta knock him out. You're not gonna beat Errol Spence just waiting to counter. I'm sorry to tell you. No counterpuncher is gonna beat Errol Spence if they can't knock him out. You gotta knock him out. You gotta knock him out. You're not beating Errol Spence just waiting to counter all night. What I tell y'all all the time, if you let Errol Spence be first, he gonna fucking be first. He gonna be first. He gonna control the pace. He's gonna be the ring general. He gonna control the distance. He's gonna win rounds. If you just gonna counter all night and you ain't stopping shit, you not gonna fucking win. Period. If you just gonna counter all night and you ain't stopping shit, you not winning. Errol Spence putting them rounds in the bank. He putting them rounds in the bank. While you waiting to try to land that perfect shot, Errol Spence done landed. He landing jabs. He going to the body. He beating your shit up. You feel me? He fucking you up the whole night. Said Danny was supposed to be a great counterpuncher. Look what happened. Facts. Danny Garcia is a phenomenal counterpuncher. Mikey Garcia, a phenomenal counterpuncher. I would argue that Mikey Garcia could be a better counterpuncher than Terence Crawford, or right on the same level. Phenomenal counterpuncher. He don't have as much power as Terence Crawford, which is a big deal. He may not be, he's not as athletic as Terence Crawford, which allows Terence Crawford to hit you from different angles that Mikey probably can't hit you with. But Mikey Garcia was a great counterpuncher. Yordenis Ugas, a great counterpuncher. You see, hold on. So You see how every time I call that shit out, Terence Crawford fans or people that's picking Terence Crawford, they always revert to power. Bucket Man just said Danny Garcia pillow fist. Even though we know Danny got power, but peep game. Said Danny Garcia pillow fist. You see why I say that the only way Terence Crawford can win is by knockout. Every time you say, well, Terence Crawford is a great counterpuncher, then I name other great counterpunchers that Errol Spence fought, and then what they do, they revert back to power. Even y'all only see Terence Crawford winning by knockout. Even y'all know that Terence Crawford only got a puncher's chance. Even y'all know. They don't see that man being able to have a chance outside of landing this miraculous shot. They don't see it. They don't see it. I'm telling y'all, bruh, everything I said leading up to this fight is all gonna come into fruition. Everything I said from the first video I made, I said in order for Terence Crawford to beat him, you gotta hurt Errol Spence. This was 2018 I said this. This was 2018 I said this. And I'm standing on that, bruh. If you can't hurt Errol Spence, you lose. Whole time, he can win a decision and he can stop you. You're not going to outbox him. He going to cut the ring off. At some point, you got to fight. And if you can't hurt him, you're not fucking winning the decision. It's not happening. Shout out to the OG Mr. Munt in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, Errol doesn't stop working just because he's getting countered. That's a fact. If you let Errol Spence be first, he gonna be first. You said if Bud outbox Spence, I think that'll be the most impressive way that he can win. If Terence Crawford outbox Errol Spence in a 12-round unanimous decision, I would be more impressed with that if he not, other than him knocking out Errol Spence. I would be more impressed with him outboxing Errol Spence than I would be him stopping Errol Spence. I would be more impressed with that. I just don't see it happening. If he can outbox Errol Spence and make Errol look like how Floyd made Canelo look, make him look like an amateur, make him look like he don't belong in a ring with you. If Terence Crawford can do that, I would be extremely impressed. I would be way more impressed with that. I don't think he can do it. He has to knock out Errol Spence. He's not going to be able to escape and evade all night. He's not going to be able to keep Errol Spence up off of him. The only way he does that is with power. And if he's not hurting Errol Spence, what's keeping him from coming forward behind the jab, breaking your shit the fuck up? Why you think Floyd Mayweather, when he speak about Errol Spence, why you think you can feel that energy or what might have took place in the ring when they sparred? Who's a better outboxer, Terence Crawford or Floyd Mayweather? Who's a better outboxer? Shout out to the brother Big Tex 33 in the building. What's good? Who's a better outboxer, Terence Crawford or Floyd Mayweather? Who's better off the back foot? Countering off the back foot, outboxing, using the whole ring. Who's better? Who's better? I'm just saying, if Earl can catch up to Floyd, he can catch up to Terence Crawford. If Earl can cut the ring off on Floyd, he can cut that motherfucker off on Crawford. And we talking about the Floyd that fought Canelo. Cause Earl helped Floyd get ready for the Ghost Guerrero fight. And that was before the Canelo fight. So that was a fresh, sharp Floyd Mayweather who still had legs. So if Earl can cut the ring off on him, you can't tell me that he can't get the Bud Crawford. He gonna have to fight. Ain't no holding, ain't no cut, ain't no moving all night. Like Derrick James said, all that moving and shit, that shit ain't gonna work. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. Said Bud got better feet than Floyd. Oh my goodness. Come on, D Lucky. I'm gonna let you slide with that one, brother. I'm gonna act like I ain't see that, bro. I'm gonna act like I ain't see that, D Lucky. I think Floyd right now got better feet than Terence Crawford. Almost 50 years old, he got better feet than Terence Crawford. You tripping, man. Come on, D Lucky. You tripping. Floyd right now, almost 50 years old, got better feet than Terence Crawford. You tripping, man. Come on, bro. You out your mind, bro. Come on, you see? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I ain't never seen Terence Crawford outbox nobody like Floyd, bro. Come on, dog. Y'all. Come on, D Lucky. Come on, D Lucky. Come on, brother. You tripping, man. Hey, Mr. Monk, you just said that, bro. Hey, man, D Lucky. Hey, you wildin', bro. I think Floyd right now, at this age, moves better laterally and going backwards than Terence Crawford. Right now. Right now. But he don't move like that, bro. And even when he fought Postal wasn't cutting the ring off. Postal was just following him all night. And Bud wasn't, he wasn't really forced to have to evade and give a whole lot of angles and turn Postal like that. He had success versus Sean Porter, turning him and shit, but that was a significantly smaller man that he could manipulate with long reach, be able to, give him angles and shit. But he only did that shit very subtly. And Sean Porter don't cut the ring off like Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be way different. We gonna have to see, for Terence Crawford to outbox Errol Spence, we gonna have to see him do some shit we never seen before. We gonna have to see Terence Crawford do some shit we ain't never seen him do before, bruh. See, D Lucky, why you going back to power? Bud sleeps Floyd at this age. We ain't talking about power, bruh. Again, if Terence Crawford can't hurt Errol Spence, then what? Because every time I debunk some bullshit that you Terence Crawford fans say, y'all always revert back to power. Everything is always power. That's how I know Terence Crawford himself and these fans, they caught the vapors. You know what I'm saying? They done fought Jeff Horn. They done fought Mean Machine, got dropped. But they stopped him. They done fought David Albanesian. All these guys that you expect Terence Crawford to stop. Boys always lean back to power. Always. Always. It always come back to power. I tell you, you tell me Terence Crawford is a great counterpuncher, and I name all of the fantastic counterpunchers that Errol Spence faced, then you say, well, they ain't got power like Bud. Then I tell you that Errol Spence was able to cut the ring off on Floyd in some heated sparring when Floyd was at the top of his game outboxing Canelo Alvarez. And then you tell me, you tell me that Bud got feet too, but he ain't got feet like Floyd. And then I debunk that, and then you bring it back to power. Come on, man. Just admit You only believe that Terence Crawford got a puncher's chance. You believe that. Even Terence Crawford fans believe that the only way that he can win is by knockout. That's the only way. That's the only way. The only way Terence Crawford wins this fight is if he catch Errol Spence in between punches or at an angle where Earl don't see the punch coming and he hit him with the perfect shot, fight over. That's literally the only way that he wins this fight. And what's the chances of that happening for real? When you get two guys that never been stopped, two guys that's like, they used to fighting tip-top competition, especially Earl. He done been through the fire. Earl done already been through the gauntlet, fighting the biggest welterweights. Fought Kell Brook in his prime, who was one of the biggest welterweights at that time. Then he just fought Yordenis Ugas coming off the Manny Pacquiao win, who was coming off a Keith Thurman win, who was undefeated at that time. Ugas, one of the biggest welterweights in the division. He's fighting guys with size, skill, ability, everything. Counter-punching ability, power. Errol Spence done seen all that shit. So you mean to tell me he finna get in the ring with Bud and get knocked out? I'm not saying he can't get knocked out. Anybody can get stopped. But I'm saying you telling me that you expect Terence Crawford to knock out Errol Spence, a dude who ain't never showed you nothing about getting knocked out. He ain't never showed you no type of indication that he was ever gonna be knocked out. And you telling me that's the dude that's finna get stopped? Hell no. Hell no. But I could see Errol Spence winning on the decision or stopping Terence Crawford with accumulation of ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother DH in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, never bet on a puncher's chance. Big facts. Never bet on a puncher's chance. Never bet on a puncher's chance. You feel me? All I'm saying is, how many times have we seen a fighter finally fight somebody on their level or better, no knockout? How many times have we seen that? How many times have we seen that? How many times have we seen a fighter go on a rampage, stopping everything, and then they finally fight that guy, and they go the distance? How many times we seen that? Too many times, bro. Too many times. You finally step up in competition. You finally fight somebody with a post who ain't on their way out or who ain't already been broken down. You finally fight somebody who got that same dog in them, if not more, than you do. You finally fighting somebody who is on an even skill level or higher skill level than you are. You finally fight somebody who can take a punch. You finally fight somebody your motherfucking size or bigger. It happens all the time. Salute to the brother D Lucky back in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said, I'll super chat you some of my... Hey, I appreciate that, D Lucky. You a real one, bro. He said, I'll super chat you some of my winnings. Hey, that's love, bro. If Terence Crawford do knock out Errol Spence and you win some money on that, brother, hey, man, say, I can't ask for too much more than that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother DH back in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said Cotto was stopping everything. Trinidad was stopping everything. Vargas was stopping everybody. That's facts. How many times have we seen that? You got a fighter stopping everything they touch. Soon as they get in the ring with somebody with a post, it go the distance. Gennady Golovkin, when he finally fought Danny Jacobs, who ain't even all that. No disrespect to Danny Jacobs. He not even all that. Soon as he got in the ring with somebody with a post, the motherfucker go 12. Shout out to the brother Mr. 76 in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He says, salute, brother. EJ's controlled aggression, selective shot placement, strategic positioning, and high punch. Hold on, he giving y'all some game. Let me run that back. He giving y'all some game. He said, EJ's controlled aggression, selective shot placement, strategic positioning, and high punch output, along with DJ's superior game planning, will be too much for Bud and his team. Man down. That brother right there giving y'all some game. And all that shit that he just said, that shit don't sound spectacular, do it? It don't sound like it jump off the screen, do it? But all that shit is valuable. Fundamentals, simplicity, steadfast, consistency. EJ's controlled aggression, not that shit Bud be doing where, he just, he get hit with a good shot and he just go balls to the wall and just throwing everything he got in his arsenal. He said controlled aggression, selective shot placement, strategic positioning, high punch output, along with the best coach in the game, setting it all up for you. We gonna see, bro. This gonna be a great fight. This gonna be a hell of a fight, a great fight. I can't wait. I'm ready to see. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to see who really got the most dog in them. I'm ready to see who prepared the most. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to see. I'm ready to see who wanted more. I'm ready to see who gonna be the sharper fighter in the ring on that night. You know what I'm saying? Who studied the most? Who's able to take advantage of the other's tendencies the most? Is Terence Crawford gonna be the one that take advantage of Errol Spence's come forward style? The fact that he utilizes the jab probably more than anybody in the sport. Or if Errol Spence can take advantage of the fact that Terence Crawford, he get out his character when he get hit with a good shot. He just want to fight. And he know when he go to the corner, Bomac ain't going to tell him shit about strategy. All Bomac going to say is, keep fighting. Bomac going to say, hey, you go get it. You finding your rhythm now. You just got to find your rhythm. You got it. Shout out to the brother D Lucky back in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said, I'm eating fish while watching the fight. Shout out to my brother G5 Gabe in the building. What's good, man? I appreciate you for pulling up. Hey, you wild, bro. You wild. Hey, man, look. We gonna find out. We gonna find out, man. We gonna find out. I done played this fight out so many times in my head, and I've seen so many different outcomes. And every time that I played this fight out, I never saw Errol Spence getting outboxed. I never saw him being outclassed. I never saw him in a position to where he was struggling to find Terence Crawford. I never saw Errol Spence in a position where he looked bewildered and Derrick James couldn't offer no type of instruction on how to get closer or how to land the jab, how to set up the left hand. because Terence Crawford was being so elusive and his feet was so crazy and his ring generalship was so phenomenal and the distance was impenetrable. Earl just couldn't find his distance. He couldn't touch him. Every time I played this fight out, I couldn't see that. I did see Terence Crawford landing a shot and hurting Errol Spence. So that is seared in my mind as a possibility. I did see Errol Spence controlling the pace of the fight, pushing Terence Crawford backwards all night. Terence Crawford trying to survive after round 7, round 8. He down on the cards. You know what I'm saying? At this point, he done hit Earl with some of his best shit, and Earl ain't went nowhere. Now he just trying to survive. Now he just throwing 1 or 2 counter shots at a time off the heavy back foot, and it ain't working because the judges is loving what Errol Spence is doing. Errol Spence putting rounds in the bank, and the fight either go to the distance, and Errol Spence wins a decisive unanimous decision, or it's a TKO, accumulation of ass whooping. Terence Crawford eye fucked up. Remember, Kell Brook had Terence Crawford eye looking bad in 2 rounds with the jab, and he got them high cheekbones, and his eyes is overly exposed. Orbital bone broken, shattered. I can see Terence Crawford whole eye shut and the other one on his way to being closed. 25% vision. Fucked up. Bo Mac put the Cheetos bag down and he fuck around and throw the Cheetos bag in the ring instead of the towel because he out of his mind right now. He out of his body. He think he throwing the towel in, but he done threw the Cheetos bag in. Cheetos everywhere. The ref jump in and this shit over with. Or they send Bud to the corner. Hey, go check his eye out. Go look at that man's eye. Check that man's eye out. Shout out to the brother D Lucky back in the super chat again. He said, "What do you guarantee? What do I guarantee?" What I can guarantee is that at some point it's going to be a fight. What I can guarantee is that it's going to be half chess match, half dog fight. At some point it's going to be a dog fight. And another thing I can guarantee, that when that dog fight pop off, Terence Crawford ain't going to take a step back. And Errol Spence ain't gonna take a step back. I can guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers gonna know that they was in there with a dog at the end of this fight. I guarantee you that. Both fighters gonna know they was in that motherfucker with somebody who was willing to like lay it all on the line that night. That night. It's gonna be a real dog fight. Half chess match, half dog fight, and both of them gonna be equally interesting. The chess match is gonna be interesting because it's gonna be so much tension. It's gonna be so much jockeying for position and distance. It's going to be so much jockeying for control of the ring. Fighting for ring generalship. That's the chess match going to be very interesting. Who going to make the first mistake? If Terence Crawford come out in orthodox, what's the foot position in battle going to be like? You know, Terence Crawford's lead left foot and Errol Spence's lead right foot, who gonna be able to control the distance? Who gonna be able to control the positioning with both of their lead foots being right across from each other? Will there be some stepping on some toes? Will that have an impact on the fight? You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker step on the other one toes and sneak in a mean ass sneaky shot and hurt him. The chess match is gonna be very interesting. But the dog fight, yeah, that dog fight gonna be that. The dog fight gonna be that. 2 killers, nobody taking a step back. That's what I can guarantee. That's what I can guarantee in this fight. But like I said, though, I really do see, I can see Terence Crawford eye being fucked up. I'm telling you, bro. If this fight go rounds, which I believe it will, I think this fight goes at a minimum of 8 rounds. A minimum of 8 rounds. And if this fight goes rounds like I believe it will, I think by round 5, round 6, Terence Crawford eye gonna be fucked up. Terence Crawford eye gonna be fucked up. Shout out to the brother Aaron H. Muhammad in the super chat coming through and showing love. He says, salute to the channel. Nobody is talking about EJ's integrity. It translates in the ring by nullifying all tricks and forcing a frontal confrontation. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to my brother King Y in the building. That's a fact, bro. Errol Spence's integrity. The fact that he did everything that he said he was going to do. The man said, I'm going to get these belts, and then I'm going to come take your shit. And here we are. The Undisputed Championship of the world. The 2 best fighters fighting for boxing supremacy, fighting for welterweight supremacy, putting it all on the line. Everything is on the line. But I'm going to tell you, bro, I can see Terence Crawford eye getting fucked up. I can see Terence Crawford eye getting fucked up. If this fight go rounds like I think, round 5, round 6, Terence Crawford gonna have, and I'm telling you, that orbital bone, the man cheekbones is big, bruh. That man cheekbones big, bruh. I'm telling y'all, bruh. Look, that jab, that man eye finna be fucked up, bruh. All this right here, all that's bone right there. That shit finna get shattered. All that's bone, bruh. The longer this fight go, the worse it is for Terence Crawford. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. The longer this fight go, the worse it's gonna be for Terence Crawford. I keep putting emphasis on this. That's why I say if Terence Crawford can't hurt Errol Spence, then what? The longer this shit go, the worse it's gonna be for Bud. All this shit right here, because Kell Brook had all this shit scraped up and swole up in 2 rounds. Off the jab. Off the jab. Kell Brook had this shit. The reason I'm putting emphasis on this because I think Terence Crawford, after he figure out he can't offset Errol Spence's jab with orthodox stance, he gonna go southpaw because that's where he's most comfortable, which is gonna give Errol Spence a easier path with the jab to Terence Crawford's eyes. And I'm telling you, bro, all this shit, that's bone right there. That shit gonna be fucked up. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Shout out to my brother D Lucky, back in the super chat, going crazy. He said, in hopes, he said, I hope this is not a weight loss count for Errol Spence. Come on, D Lucky, you just splitting hairs right now. D Lucky, you just splitting hairs, man. Y'all ain't seen Errol Spence. That man in shape right now. Errol Spence in hella shape right now. If you banking on this shit being a bad weight cut, boy is really in trouble. Errol Spence been in shape for the last 3-4 months. Shout out to my brother Jay Cooley in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, been a long time. He said, been a long time. What up? What up, fam? We here now. All the BS that, I don't know why this shit keep moving like that. They said all the BS Bud and his camp been doing or been talking, they gonna have to eat it. Big facts. All that bullshit, they gonna have to stand on that, bruh. All that duck talk, all that holding up the division talk, all that he's scared, he took the easy route talk. Bruh, motherfuckers gonna have to stand on that shit, bruh. Somebody just said Kell Brook got a better jab than Errol Spence. Oh my God. See, hey, Terence Crawford fans, look. I be trying to show y'all love because I'm a Terence Crawford fan too. But y'all delusional, bruh. Delusional, bruh. Like on another level. That man just said Kell Brook got a better jab than Errol Spence. Now, Kell Brook got a good ass jab. He do. He got a good ass jab. But better than Earl? How? I fuck with y'all, bruh, because the same shit that y'all be saying in Bud, I see that too. I see it, bruh. The same shit that y'all see in Bud, I can see the same shit. Now, maybe y'all be going a little bit too over the top with it. Tweaking. My brother D Lucky just said Terence Crawford got better feet than Floyd Mayweather. D Lucky just said Terence Crawford got better footwork and lateral movement than Floyd fucking Mayweather. Now one of the brothers just said Kell Brook got a better jab. How? Errol Spence jab is longer, it's more active, it's more varied. Errol Spence can use the jab in way more ways than Kell Brook. That's why Terence Crawford was able to switch to southpaw and time Kell Brook so easily because he was so predictable with the jab. It's a great, sharp, and stiff jab, but it's not varied like Errol Spence's jab. Errol Spence, he can feint with the jab. You know what I'm saying? Battery trying to die on me. Errol Spence can feint with the jab. Throwing motherfuckers off. He throw it to the head and to the body. Kell Brook don't be going to the body like that. Errol Spence throw that bitch to the head and to the body. Then he'll use it to just occupy your guard so he can bring some other shit behind it. You know what I'm saying? He can use it as a power jab, as just a lead power jab to really fuck shit up. Have your eye crushed. Or he can just use it just as a rangefinder to get close to you. That's what make Errol Spence jab so great. Because it's a major tool that's utilized in so many ways. I don't think there's a fighter in the sport that utilizes the jab in more ways than Errol Spence. Nobody. There's no fighter in the sport that used the jab in more ways than Errol Spence. Errol Spence used the jab in so many different ways. That's what makes it such a great weapon. And you know you got to deal with it for the whole fight. As long as the fight lasts, you know you got to deal with that motherfucker. And just, hold on, think about this. A trainer teaches a fighter to set everything up behind the jab. How many fighters do you actually see set everything up behind the jab? Not many. Errol Spence literally set everything up behind the jab. Everything set up behind the jab. He said, did he utilize it against Sean Porter? Absolutely he did. Absolutely. He didn't use it in the way that you conventionally used to seeing Errol Spence use the jab. He chose to fight Sean Porter in a phone booth. But he used the jab. He used the jab. He used the jab. I'm going to give you an example. This is how he used his lead hand to set up the knockdown from Sean Porter. He positioned Sean Porter's head. He was throwing jabs, and then he left that bitch out there, held Sean Porter's fucking scalp, in position and brought the left hand behind that bitch. So many different ways. And he was setting that shit up all night. He was setting that shit up all night. He didn't use the jab like he normally do, creating distance. That shit was a phone booth fight. That was like a Hagler-Hearns type of fight. Shawn Porter and Errol Spence was one of the best welterweight fights in recent history. It was a Hagler-Hearns type of fight, stylistically. It wasn't Hagler-Hearns, but it was that type of fight. They just went straight at it. One of the best performances from Shawn Porter that I ever seen. And that, to me, that wasn't even the best Errol Spence. But Errol Spence was still able to pull that shit out versus a guy who was probably more motivated than anybody that ever been in the ring with Errol Spence outside of Terence Crawford now. Errol Spence was setting that shit up all night, using subtle jabs, getting on the inside, working the body, you feel me? And then I saw in that round, what was that, the 10th or the 11th when he dropped Shawn? He was setting that shit up, and then instead of bringing the jab back, he held that bitch out there because Shawn Porter was expecting him to bring it back, and Shawn ducked down, and he was going to bring up a counter shot over the jab. Errol Spence kept that bitch out there, held his head, and brought the left hand behind it. Who you see doing that, bro? You don't see nobody doing that, bro. You don't see nobody doing that shit. Different. Shakur do that. Shakur, he'll use his jab and hold your guard. If you go in the high guard, he'll use his jab and he'll pin both of your guards up, and then he'll bring the left to the body. Earl do that too. But you don't see motherfuckers hold a motherfucker head and set up a shot that win the fight. That shot literally won Errol Spence the fight. That knockdown was the difference in Errol Spence winning that fight. You know what that tell me? That tell me that Errol Spence has a high level of awareness. He has a high level of situational awareness. And he was able to set some shit up from the early rounds of the fight, carry it over to the late rounds to get a knockdown that was much needed for him to win that fight. You know what I'm saying? Saying it's illegal? No, let me tell you why it's not illegal. Because when he was throwing the jab that whole round, he was setting that shit up. You can't call that illegal if you stop your jab and you place your hand in that position for a slight second and you bring a shot. You can't call that illegal. That's just range finding. You know what I'm saying? He got a glove on. He can't physically grab the motherfucker's head. All he did was just leave it out there and then bring something behind it. But that's just a sneaky, crafty veteran move that you don't see a lot of fighters do. It's risky. You just gotta be a certain type of motherfucker to do shit like that. That's just an example of the different ways that Errol Spence uses his lead hand, bruh. That's why the shit is so dominant. That's why it's so dominant. Like the brother said, Earl made it look slick. That's why nobody has a more varied jab than Errol Spence. Nobody has a varied lead hand than Errol Spence. Nobody. He said, yeah, because he was losing and it was a lucky punch. Now it's a lucky punch. Wow. That's crazy. We gonna see, man. We gonna see. This all I say. I don't want to hear no excuses after the fight. I don't want to hear shit about lucky punch, lucky nothing. I don't want to hear about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Whoever win this fight need to get all their credit. Whoever win this fight is the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport. You feel me? And that's just what it is. You know, the loser gonna get respect off the strength that they stepped up and took the fight. Say he was losing. Now, actually, if you look at the cards, Errol Spence was winning that fight. He was winning that fight. I had that fight very close. In my opinion, That fight was the difference. In my opinion, that knockdown was the difference in the fight. I think that's what separated Errol Spence from shining in that fight. But on the judges' scorecards, they had Errol Spence winning. It was close, though. It was close. They had him winning. Hey, D-Lucky, do not bring up Jermell Charlo, bro. Please. Please, bro. Because that's when y'all start getting in a delusion. That's when it start getting way more delusional. Don't bring up Mel, bro. That's when it start getting way more delusional, bro. You know what I'm saying? You already said Terence Crawford got better feet than Floyd. Somebody said, Kell Brook got a better jab than Errol Spence. That's just when it started getting more delusional, bro. Don't do that, bro. Let's see how Terence Crawford deal with this first. Let's see how he deal with this first. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to hear no excuses. And look, let me say this. Even after Errol Spence whooped Terence Crawford ass, I still want to see him fight Jermell Charlo. Just cause. Just cause. Go up there and get knocked out by Jermell Charlo. You know what I'm saying? And go out with another bag. You feel me? But I will say this, D-Lucky. If Terence Crawford beats Errol Spence, becomes undisputed, beats him again in a rematch, if there is one, because, there's rematch clauses, but that don't mean the fighter's going to activate it. So let's say he beats Errol Spence twice, undisputed. Beats him the first one for undisputed. The second one, I think that second fight might be at 54. Then you go and you beat Jermell Charlo for undisputed. That will make Terence Crawford the only fighter in history to be undisputed 3 times in 3 different weight classes. I think you got to have the GOAT conversation at that point. At that point, he would be what? 43-0? 42-0, 43-0. Multiple knockouts. 3-time undisputed, 3 different weight classes. The first fighter ever, male or female. And he did it in the 4-belt era. I think you got to have the GOAT conversation at that point. Shout out to the brother. Hold on. Shout out to the brother Frank Cook in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, who can either fighter bring into imitate their opponent for sparring? That's a great question. That's a great question, Frank Cook. If I'm Terence Crawford, I'm bringing in Shakur. Definitely. Even though he's a smaller guy, highly skilled southpaw, I'm bringing in Shakur. If I'm Terence Crawford. If I'm Errol Spence, I'm bringing in Frank Martin. I'm going to switch Frank Martin in and out. I will bring in, we just talking hypotheticals if you can bring in anybody. I'll bring in Frank Martin. I'll bring in Jermell Charlo so I can, feel that power. Jermell Charlo is a phenomenal counterpuncher in his own right. Great, good hand speed, good power, good athleticism. I'm bringing in Mel and Frank Martin off tops so I can get that southpaw and I can get that orthodox. And then I'll bring in some other guys around that too. You know what I'm saying? But definitely I'm sparring Frank Martin and I'm sparring Jermell Charlo. You feel me? If I get Tank in there too if I could. But I think that's too much of a size difference. I would definitely have Frank Martin and Jermell, and if I'm Bud, I'm bringing in Shakur. I'm bringing Shakur in for sure. But one of the brothers just asked me, do I think Errol Spence beats Jermell Charlo? I've already been on record. This is just my personal opinion. Because I haven't seen Errol at 54 yet. I don't think nobody right now beating Jermell Charlo at 54. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I just think that last performance I seen versus Castano, bro, he put it all together. Mel put it all together, bro. Like, I don't see nobody beating him at 54. Right now, no. I don't see nobody beating him. But that's just me. I know a lot of y'all think, Bud or Spence can beat him. I don't. I think they can win, but I don't see it happening, though. I would pick Jamel over both of them. That's my personal opinion. Shout out to the brother Coach Joe, TWT in the building. What's good? Appreciate you for pulling up. Said Earl gonna hurt Terence Crawford. Yeah, I believe so. I believe so, man. Because if the fight goes 12, Terence Crawford gonna take a lot of punishment. If it goes 12. And the thing is, with Terence Crawford's nature and his tendencies and his temperament, I just don't see him being down on the cards and not going out on his shield. I think when Terence Crawford realizes that he's down on the cards, he done gave up too many early rounds. Errol Spence done racked up rounds in the bank. He done been, putting that jab on him, going to the body. It's been a lot of punishment. I just see Terence Crawford just throwing the whole game plan out and trying to fight, and I think that's one or two things gonna happen. Either he gonna land that shot that he out of desperation, or he gonna get fucked up even worse. You know what I'm saying? For being so aggressive. Either he gonna get fucked up even worse for being so aggressive, or he gonna actually land that shot that he been looking for all night. But at that point, it's like Errol Spence done already start picking up steam. See, that's the thing about Errol Spence. That's the thing, bro. It's like, and that's Derrick James fighters in general. Motherfuckers got gas tanks on them. It's like, bro, it's round 8. Earl done already, you down 5-2 at this point. Might be down 6-1. It's round 8, you down 5-2. At the very worst for Earl, you down 4-3. And now he picking up steam. He picking the steam up now. He in rhythm. He throwing punches in bunches. He leaning on you now. Oh, you know it ain't a good sign when Earl get the leaning on you. It's the middle. It's round 7, round 8, round 9. That motherfucker leaning on you. And everything he throwing is hard. Every shot is hard. No matter if he hitting shoulders, elbows, hips, gloves, body, head, everything stiff, everything hard. And he leaning on you. He leaning on you. And the punches don't stop coming. And when you want to rest, you can't fucking rest. How many times y'all seen Ugas in that ring with Earl trying to find a safe space? And Earl, soon as he get touched with some, Ugas, he got hit in his eye. Oh, he trying to move. He trying to get out the way, trying to go over here to this corner, find a safe place. Ain't no safe place in the ring with Errol Spence. What you do when it's late in the fight and you want to rest and you can't fucking rest? You want to hold them, but you can't fucking hold them. You need a small pocket to give yourself some time to take a breath, but you can't get it. What you gonna do? That's where the punishment come in at. That's where the broken orbital bones come in at. That's where the broken ribs come in at. That's where, motherfuckers gonna be pissing blood after the fight. That's where that come in at. Yeah, like the brother Joshua Riley just said, Spence won't allow you to clinch. That's a fact. Every time Earl hit Ugas with something that he didn't like, and he was trying to move and get to a safe place, wasn't no safe place. Wasn't no safe place. You couldn't go nowhere. And I don't think Terence Crawford gonna be trying to find a safe. Well, shit, it's different when you actually get in there. I tell you, I just said that the way that Terence Crawford can impress me is if he outboxed Errol Spence. That would be like the most impressive thing. If he outboxed Errol Spence, like outclass him. with the footwork, ring generalship, all that. That would impress me. Something that would impress me from Errol Spence with Terence Crawford is if he make Terence Crawford look like how he did Ugas, where he was trying to get out the way. If Errol Spence can make Terence Crawford go into retreat mode, that would be impressive to me, because I think he can do it. That would be impressive. I don't see it happening because I think Terence Crawford got too much dog. I don't see Bud getting hit with something that he don't like and going in retreat mode and trying to evade and get away. I see Terence Crawford biting down and shit, fuck it, we gonna fight. What would be impressive if Earl can put him in retreat mode? That would be impressive. That would be impressive. Karate Body say he got Bud winning by decision. You are in the minority, my brother. And that's cool, because if he does do that, that would be extremely impressive to me. If he can win on the cards with Errol Spence, impressive. Impressive. Everybody bring up the Sean Porter fight, but when have we ever seen Terence Crawford have the activity of Sean Porter? That fight was a phone booth fight. Terence Crawford don't got no work rate like Sean Porter. Terence Crawford don't throw punches in bunches like Sean Porter, not on a consistent basis. Terence Crawford not constantly closing the distance, crashing the pocket, getting on the inside, making it rough and tough. He don't do that. He don't do that. No, for Terence Crawford to have that type of success, he gonna have to do something different in this fight that we haven't seen him do. All Errol Spence got to do is just be Errol Spence. That's all he got to do. Shout out to the brother False Star Falcon in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said the only thing Ugas could do was shove Earl trying to create space. Facts. Hey, I'm glad you brought that up, brother. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the only thing Ugas really could do. And did y'all hear the announcers kept talking about, oh, he's hurt. Oh, battery about to die a little bit. But let me get this off. Remember, the announcers kept saying, like, when Earl was like relentlessly coming forward on Ugas, and then Ugas couldn't do shit but like push Earl back, and Earl like off balance because he literally leaning on motherfuckers. So when he leaning on you and you push him back, he step back and then he stick his foot in the ground and he go back to him. The announcers talking about, oh my God, he's hurt, he hurt. Ain't seen no punch land. The camera view is behind Errol Spence. They talking about, oh, he's hurt, because he done damn near fell back, stick his feet in the ground and get back to him because he leaning on that motherfucker. Because Ugas done pushed him back. And Earl get right back to the smoke. Ain't no safe place. I'm not going nowhere. Y'all tell me I'm lying, bruh. I know y'all heard that shit during the Ugas and Spence fight. Motherfuckers talking about he hurt. No, he just got pushed and he coming back. The announcers was tweaking. Not even talking about when his mouthpiece came out. I'm talking about there were multiple times where Errol Spence literally like leaning on Ugas, throwing shots, Ugas pushing back, and because Earl got all his momentum and leverage going forward, you push him back, motherfucker gonna stumble a little bit. He stick his feet in the ground and get right back to him. He wasn't hurt, bro. He was just off balance. Get back to him because Ugas pushed him. It wasn't even a punch. But like the brother just said, that's all Ugas could do was push him. You can't hold him. And if you push him, he gonna get right back to the action. Right back to the smoke. Nah, motherfucker, come here. Where you going? Nah, I need that. I need that. I need that. That shot that he got hit with going into the ropes, I don't think he was hurt right there neither. Think about it. Earl got hit flush with Ugas' best punch, a right hand, with his hands down, no mouthpiece in. He took the shot, smiled, and got right back to the smoke. And then he had his best round of the fight in the 7th round. I don't think he was hurt. Caught off guard, yes. Hit with a hard shot that he felt, yes. Hurt, no. And I want you to think about what I just said. Think about how good your chin gotta be to get hit with somebody's best punch with your hands down, not paying attention. You know they say it's the punch you don't see. The same punch that Terence Crawford banking on. Ugas didn't stop fighting. Ugas he hit Errol Spence with the right hand. That's what sent him into the ropes. The ref jumped in and said, stop. Errol Spence, stop. Ugas kept punching. That's the shot that sent them to the ropes. He hit him with a stiff right hand, clean, on the chin. Errol Spence hands down, not paying attention, no mouthpiece. Do you know how good your chin gotta be to take a shot like that from a professional boxer, his best punch, and you not even looking? And you don't got your mouth guard in that bite down and help take some of the shock off that motherfucker? Errol Spence got a fucking chin. Trying to tell y'all, he got a chin on him, bro. He got a chin, man. But look, my battery is about to die, man. I got to get out of here. I don't want this shit to just shut down and then, you know, the whole stream lost and shit. So, look, man, I appreciate everybody that came through in the super chat showing love. Shout out to my brother D Lucky. You went crazy. Shout out to everybody who's supporting the channel. Everybody in the regular chat just chopping it up. I appreciate y'all. Love talking this boxing with y'all. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. If you came late, I didn't even know this stream was that long. We just been up here kicking shit. You feel me? Shout out to the Queen Neek J. I hope you enjoy your day as well. Hope y'all have a great Memorial Day. Eat y'all some barbecue. Go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Chill with the family, man. But I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a great week. Contender regime. Boxing, I'll holler at y'all boys, man.